Hey, you guys, we're back and ready to tackle yet another edition of 90s Now. How you doing?
I'm with my favorite two ladies, so I'll let you guess.
I think you're doing great then.
Hot mamas we are.
Correct answer.
Hot mamas, right, Kel? Good one. We've got a lot to tackle today. As usual, we've got Nikki Sixx's opinion on one of the biggest rock bands of our time as a result of their opinion of his band, also one of the biggest rock bands of our time. So we'll talk about that. Baby will make 6 for one of the members of the 90210 family. Kelly's trivia will undoubtedly be challenging in the best possible way. And a 90s rewind is going to take us back to your Walkman's playlist in 1996. Or maybe it was a portable disc player. Either way, it was yours and you loved it. It'll also feature one of the names that'll be rocking the halftime show at the Super Bowl. So we'll talk about that. And it seems like one big rock star has come off of a source for the sake of his voice. So we're going to tell you who that is and what the source is or was. And also we've got some follow-up on the Janet Jackson documentary because Kelly went to the source, an entirely different source than the one we're going to talk about in another story. But let's start there. Kel, what's going on?
Well, first of all, just before I start, I want to give a 90s Now shout out to our very own Sharon Hyland. Congratulations, because Sharon has a new job starting very soon.
Yes.
Still the queen of rock, but she will now be the queen of rock starting in the AMs with a brand new morning show gig. So this is amazing news. And all of us here are excited for you and proud of you and cannot wait for you to kick some butt. Just make sure you're still awake when we record this show, please.
I can't make any promises, but it'll be funny.
It will be.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And you can make sure to catch Sharon if you'd like to listen to her on the Rock Station, because you guys obviously you can listen online. So shom977.com or shom.com. Shom.com.
Yeah, shom.com. Our handle is Mornings Rock with Jay, Sharon, and Chantal.
And for those not familiar with radio, you should know morning radio, morning show is the ultimate consecration. So Sharon, congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. That's nice.
And Shom is spelled CHOM.com. So now big Janet news. So obviously the doc came out, and I think we mentioned last week that 15.7 million people or over 15.7 million people had watched the doc.
Wow.
That number continues to rise. Mm-hmm. And we decided to go to the source of her feature in the doc, which is Tina Landon. And so Janet's former creative director and choreographer joined the Kelly Alexander show for an hour, which was amazing. And she was able to expand upon her parts in the documentary, talking about the Janet album and also delving into the part that Janet's doc delved into, which was a lot of Janet's relationship with her former husband, Renee Elizondo. Right. So Tina was able to expand on all of that. We also talked about Scream and how Janet went there and said that it was a challenging situation with Michael to get that video done. Yeah. And that it wasn't the experience that I think she was hoping for. So we talk about all that kind of good stuff. But there is a bit of a caveat when it comes to this interview. You cannot just go to our YouTube channel and watch it. You actually have to subscribe to the newsletter. So what you do is you go to kellyalexandershow.com/subscribe. Hit that, and then you'll get an email with the exclusive access link to watch the video of Tina.
So is this like joining a fan club?
A Tina Landon fan club, if you will.
I'm in that one already, I think.
Yeah, I think you're really gonna like this one, Sharon. Like, she really was able to expand and go there and just and she very insightful into Janet and her legacy.
What I like about your interviews with Tina Landon is what she brings to the table as far as experience goes, because it's a long list of credits, but B, how genuinely nice she is. I mean, she's such a great resource of information of that time, of her craft, of the music, etc. But she's just such a nice person. Mm-hmm. Like, and I'm going to say something. It's like she could be your friend. And wait a minute, Kelly, she's your friend. As a result.
That's
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
There's that. And then, and actually one question that she answers, which I think, Sharon, you'll love to watch her response to, is the two things that make Janet be like this amazing, talented Black woman, superstar artist, but then also makes you feel like she's your best friend from high school. Yeah. So Tina has a really good 2-part answer to that question. So very cool to check out.
It's really cool. And we really dug into that last weekend too. Last week rather, after watching the doc ourselves, just because it's such a huge part of our lives. And Adam, I mean, you came into the world when Janet was cresting in her career. Certainly she's been cresting for a long time, but it transcends any sort of generation. She's just such a staple in the pantheon of music that of course it would affect us in different ways. So that's why we talked about it a lot last week. So I'm looking forward to subscribing to your newsletter.
Thank you. I appreciate your efforts. And by the way, we got a lot of comments from last week's episode with people really loving our analysis and thought process on the Janet doc. So I thought that was cool. They really enjoyed our discussion. And actually, maybe Sharon, one of our upcoming episodes, we had a request from one of our followers to have you ask me what it was like when I met Janet in 2019. So I thought that was very sweet. Like he's like, can you get into that? Because we know you met her. And so I was like, okay, so we'll have Sharon ask that at some point.
Well, do you want to do it today or do you want to save it for next week?
We'll save it for another time.
Keep the focus on Tina this time.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about, well, because I have some good questions that I'm all ready for that. I'm all ready for the next show.
And actually it'd be great if you have a chance to watch the Tina interview, and then maybe you'll have questions about that too.
For sure. Awesome. Okay, well, that's exciting actually. So now I know what I'm doing tonight. We've got some big rock star news, but we've also got some big trivia to get to.
Let's do that first.
90s. Now, trivia.
Bing bong.
I just realized that these are Los Angeles Lakers colors and close to Los Angeles Rams colors. Go Super Bowl.
Woot. Woot.
Before I start, because one of them actually is a sporting question, who are you cheering for Super Bowl? Is it Bengals or Rams? Do we care?
I'm not losing any sleep either way. I think the Bengals winning would be a really nice underdog story.
Mm-hmm.
We care for a game that will go close to overtime.
Yeah. Something exciting.
I usually always cheer for the team that's trailing, that's behind.
Yeah.
That's my
root for someone.
Very good. I like it. It's weird. I'm super happy for Joe Burrows and the team from the Bengals, but Matthew Stafford has been through such a long career in Detroit and then gets the move to Los Angeles and has had this like crazy season. And so like you're really pulling for him in a way because like he was at Detroit for so long and never managed to, crest the hill. And now he could do it in his first season with the Rams. It's bananas.
And they will be on home ground. So
that's true. That is true. All right. So question number 1 is a sports related question, but don't you worry. It's not about the Olympics. Go Canada. And funny enough, it actually is an NFL question. So which NFL team's 51-year postseason victory drought ended in 1998? So it's very apropos because it's like a Super Bowl question.
Wait, a 51-year
postseason victory drought ended in 98.
Sharon.
Go Sharon.
Jets.
Solid answer. No.
Adam.
Go Adam.
I'll go for the Dolphins.
Oh, that's a good guess. But no, the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, very nice.
I would have not guessed that.
Me neither.
That's fair.
And that's why we didn't.
Question number 2, under the Hobbies, Toys, and Games banner.
Oh, very nice.
1996, which doll celebrated its 30th anniversary with Star Trek editions?
Sharon.
Go Sharon.
Barbie.
Yep. Look at you.
Boom.
Was that just like a this has to be it, or like you knew?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, because there's not that many. Yes to both. I had to guess. But also there's not many dolls that have been around for 30 years by mid 90s. So
right. Good deduction that you made in 3 seconds or less.
And Adam, would you have guessed that?
I mean, the same one in 3 seconds and a half in less.
Okay.
As soon as you got to 30 years, I knew it wasn't Cabbage Patch dolls.
Right. Those used to frighten me. You know that Cabbage Patch doll? Like, no, I never liked them. I thought their hair was weird.
I like how you folded your arms, like your body language is still saying no to the Cabbage Patch doll.
She's so traumatized.
Yeah, nope.
It's still not happening.
Well, you know what, you guys, there's this giant rock star that has identified a way to make his performance just that much better. That has nothing to do with drama or fighting, as we are normally hearing from this particular person, but it's Liam Gallagher. And what has he done? But he's gotten rid of dairy.
Who knew?
Who knew dairy was the problem?
Who knew he knew what dairy was and what it could do for him or not?
Well, the interesting thing is that this whole big thing about how he's on jasmine tea to prioritize his voice, and that would be good for his voice. So no smoking and no dairy on days that he's got to sing. But obviously, when that's done, I go back to how I am, is what he says. So I guess
Okay, so
if
it's only on days he has to sing.
yeah.
Well, okay.
If he has like 3 nights in a row where he's got to sing, he's not getting any cheese.
I
Yeah,
don't
but he
know
gets
how that's
paid after.
a good regime to be on. It seems roller coaster ridey. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Like it's not doing anything. I doubt.
Well, dairy is it can be risky if you've got like an intolerance to it. And I think coffee with any sort of dairy product gives you this sort of what I like to call spit throat. I was just discussing that with some colleagues today. Spit throat, not a technical term, but I think it is. But it creates the saliva and it creates that smack sound that people have that drives me bonkers.
Yeah.
But it comes from like the dairy and the coffee, I think.
Possibly.
And the lack of hydration, so your stuff's working all.
Also, don't
spitty
drink
overtime.
soda before you go on the air.
Don't.
No, that's what I did earlier.
Did you?
But but it's like hiccup waiting to happen. It's just bad news. Like bad things can happen.
It's half empty. I'm still good.
But is that
Oh,
I don't think
nice.
I don't think a buble will make you like
Oh, the
trust
boobles
me,
in
it
it.
does.
really?
You
Okay.
should see me 12 minutes ago.
And what flavor was that? Was that yellow?
Yeah, that's the yellow one. That's the pineapple bubbly.
Oh, I don't think I've tried that one. I like the
Quite good.
black cherry.
We're
Yeah, that one's good too.
I like the orange myself.
Mm-hmm. Have you
I don't
tried
drink
black
too much
cherry,
of it.
Sharon?
Yes.
Okay.
I
I
don't
like
like
it.
the pink one.
Is that the
Pineapple? Not
is that the
pineapple, but
pamplemousse?
The
Pamplemousse.
pamplemousse. The yeah.
what's that? What's that called?
Grapefruit.
Thank you.
there
I'm
we
going
go.
watermelon. No, watermelon. No, I'm stuck. Oh, brother. So maybe Liam Gallagher will get himself hooked up on some buble when he's not diving deep into the dairy bucket. But he did give some advice to the younger rockers. He says, to all them 20-year-old rock stars, just ignore what I'm saying. Then when you get to 50, if you've still got a career going, you'll be doing your bits and bobs. I thought that quote was necessary because I'm like, all right, Grandpa, you'd be doing your bits and bobs. Who's bit and who's bob? Okay, so that's
Oh my
what
God.
that's what coming off a dairy does to your vocabulary.
He must be like, is he married? He's married, right? Like, or he must have a lady. for
I
sure,
would,
like-
well, she's no lady. I don't know actually.
because I just feel like he must be a lot. You know what
I
I mean?
think so too, yeah.
Like,
But at the
sometimes-
same time, I think he's genuinely just honest.
yeah. Mhm.
Like he doesn't have a problem going to sleep at night. He's not carrying any stuff around.
Yeah.
No, he's not
good.
married. He's dating someone, but they've postponed the wedding. Well, that backs to 2020. So
Oh.
they said they don't want to get married with their mask on.
Oh, I see. I feel like he doesn't have an off button, really. Like it might be like blah 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 blah, like all day long, depending on what has annoyed him.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And thankfully, when it gets to just focusing on music, he makes really good albums. And there's a new one that's out. Come On, is that what it's called?
Yeah. Is that April 27th or May 1st or it's something? It's coming.
It's one of the days
Yeah.
of this year. Similarly, we've got a new baby coming one of the days this year. The 90210 crew is set to welcome another baby to the family. It's Brian Austin Green. Little David's going to be a daddy again. And I say again with eyebrows up. Baby number 6.
Wow.
Yeah. He has like a 19-year-old, doesn't he? Or a 20-year-old son?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. No, because he was hooked up with Vanessa Marcel from General Hospital back in the day. So they have a
Yes.
son named Cassius. Then he was with Megan Fox, and they have 3. And then, or 4. Did they have 4? I guess
I
because
think
how
4.
are we getting to 6? I guess 4, because then
Is it baby
then-
number 5? Either way, it's a lot of babies.
yeah, that's all. Because I knew they had 3 sons, but maybe they have 4 sons. I know they don't have a girl.
That's what happens when you have that many kids. You
You
lose
lose count.
count.
Yeah.
But Sharna Burgess is Dancing with the Stars, right?
This is what I hear.
Right. So it's their first child. And they kind of look alike.
Right.
So I don't know what that does to a baby, but we'll see. I think I'm just teasing. They're both very attractive people. I'm sure they're going to have a beautiful baby. And we don't have to worry about Megan Fox. Speaking of beautiful people, she's engaged to Machine Gun Kelly.
Did you see that ring? Adam, I saw you pointing, so go. And then I have a story.
Yeah, just before we go to that ring, it's only his 5th child.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So he's
I
got
was overboard there.
3 with Megan. And 2 others. I
Yeah.
can't read anymore.
2 other
but
randos.
I've read it. So
Okay.
yeah, it's only his 5th child, not
Okay.
Okay. Glad I kept my count up. I read, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but when Machine Gun Kelly recently proposed, apparently the engagement ring, if you have to take it off, it's painful.
Mm-hmm.
So he designed that on purpose so that like it's painful. So like, don't take it off. Love is painful.
But here's my question.
That's
how
weird.
How hurtful is it? Is it just a ouch? Or is it
I think so, because I saw it. I saw
bleeding everything?
I saw it, and it looks like it's pointy, like down. So if you're pulling it, it's gonna you're gonna have to kind of, I think, twist and turn to get it off. That's what it feels
Who
like.
says yes to that?
Well, that was my thought. Like, if my better half wants me in pain, maybe this shouldn't happen.
Maybe Machine Gun Kelly only wants her in pain if she leaves him.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Which I don't know. That's weird.
They wear a good.
Anyways.
They're a couple that wears a good pleather pant.
They put all the budget in the ring, so they're not getting actual leather, just
That must be
faux
it.
leather, fleather.
I wonder if Lancy McConnell would wear pleather.
On a Friday night. You've got that right.
They do look good together, though.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
They
good
do
thing.
have a vibe though, right? Like when you just see
Yeah.
pictures of them, there's a vibey thing going on with them. So
It's like I get it. I get that they're together.
I get it
It needs
too.
to work. So
It's interesting. Like, do you see them at the grocery store? You know,
Not as of yet, but here in Montreal, who's to know if she won't come film something at some point?
that's true.
Yeah.
I'm look forward. We'll look forward to that time where they're
Did you
shopping
ever
for
watch
their own
the
produce.
Did you ever watch, was not this past Christmas, but the one before, I believe, when Halle Berry was here and she got the Cunningham wig?
Yeah.
We talked about that. But did
Yeah.
you watch the video on her Instagram?
Yes,
She was like slurping. She was so excited.
she was in like elbow deep into a plate of wings and like mouthful talking about how great and she's not wrong either. We
Yeah.
said that at the time. Their wings are delicious at Cunningham's.
Yeah.
But yeah, she knows what she's talking about. I think that's what we learned there.
Yeah.
So Nikki Sixx
Mm.
doesn't mince any words. He's old school. That's what the lesson to this story that we're about to talk about will teach us. He's old school in the defense of his band because he'd heard about what Eddie Vedder had to say about Motley Crue and he responded to it. And it wasn't like Eddie Vedder just went and said, "Here's what I have to say about them." He was in an interview and talking about his time as like a gear guy unloading for bands. At the time he worked at a club and there were bands that he wasn't necessarily a fan of. So he said, I'd end up being at shows that I wouldn't have chosen to go to, bands that monopolized late 80s MTV, the metal bands that, and he said, I'm trying to be nice, I despised. But then he went kind of head first. Girls, and Motley Crue, kind of F you. I hated it. I hated how it made fellas look. I hated how it made the women look. It felt so vacuous. So that's an honest, description of his feelings about a particular band.
Mhm.
But Nikki Sixx went for it and said, made me laugh today how much the singer Pearl Jam hated Motley Crue. Now, considering they're one of the most boring bands in history, it's kind of a compliment, isn't it? And there's such an old school quality to this barbing back and forth of chip, and it's not even back and forth. It's, Eddie Vedder being interviewed about a situation and he described it, to Nikki Sixx seemingly not letting it go because he went on to write, I believe it was through Twitter, "You're not allowed to diss my band in our 40-year history and not get a little smack back. All good. More focused on us playing stadiums right now. Moving on."
I love Nikki Sixx. Like
He's great.
And don't forget to check out our interview on the Kelly Alexander show. That's on our YouTube channel, recent. But yeah, like just his vibe. And we were talking, he and I, yeah, like you just know he doesn't take anything. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't need to, because he's Nikki Sixx and he's got it. You know what I mean? I have to
Totally.
say, like, I was a bit surprised that Eddie Vedder went there. You know what I mean? For no, like, I think he could have stopped at hair metal bands.
He could have, that's true. But who knows? There must be some sort of history, because I don't see Eddie Vedder as being a bad dude.
Yeah, I
looking for
love
a
Eddie
fight
Vedder.
either. But here's the thing. Nikki Sixx wasn't finished.
Uh-oh.
He did conclude saying, "You'll be fine. Remember, there were zillions of brown-haired bands for brown-haired bands for brown-haired fans. Go find them. You'll know them by the bored look on their face." So I think that's funny too. And again, it's old school to sort of, go back and forth like that, or go at it like that. But I think it's also dangerous at the same time, because I like Motley Crue and I like Pearl Jam. So do you diss one band's fans at the risk of maybe not pleasing them as fans of your band? Or do you actually think you can't possibly be a fan of this band and my band? You know?
Yeah, well, because I fall into the same category as you. Like, I like both bands.
Yeah.
And I've always respected Eddie Vedder, and I always think like Nikki Sixx is cool, especially since he got his life together. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
totally.
I have to say I was surprised. And obviously, who knows what context again with Eddie Vedder, because that's why you have to be so careful in interviews, because they'll often try to get a teaser out of it to,
Yeah.
like clickbait or whatever.
Yep.
But I was surprised that Eddie, because he's always so eloquent for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I just was surprised that he didn't stop at hair bands, and then that's enough.
And the interesting thing about Pearl Jam and the bands of that time, when the whole grunge movement was happening, it was hair metal bands that did suffer the fate of being no longer. The genre seemingly was killed.
Mm-hmm.
However, bands endure if they are to endure. I think we end up buying into this notion that, well, we can't like that anymore because now grunge is here, And I think that record companies are at fault here. I think that promotions people try to, or record companies for sure, for making them like their artist, and someone's got to falter, I guess. But truly, Motley Crue is still at it. So they're really not suffering. There are some bands that did sort of suffer the fate of, they didn't make it. Same thing happened with disco moving into the 80s. It died. Like, there was a peak for disco in the late 70s, and then new wave came in and punk came in, and whatever happened, it just went this way. But it doesn't mean that people don't like disco now. It doesn't mean that people don't like Motley Crue or White Lion or Great White or even White Snake. They like all the white bands like that. And it's funny, but I think it's a ploy on a business side of things to create that argument.
Yeah. Okay.
It can't possibly exist at the same time and succeed.
Yeah.
Yes, they can. But anyway, so I guess, Eddie Vedder's not going to be invited over to Nikki Sixx's house anytime soon, and vice versa.
They're probably not going to play a round of golf.
Probably not. You guys ready to go back?
Let's do it.
Go back into time. Your 90s rewind takes us back to around this time in 1996, which is nice because one of the people that we're going to talk about, I believe, is featured at the halftime show this year. Mary J.
MJB.
Yes.
Yowza. She laid it all out with Not Gonna Cry, which was in the top 10 in 1996. I can tell you that while Mary J will be at the halftime show, that Take That will not be. But the song Back for Good, as a classic 90s Brit feel-good sing-along song, man, that's one of those ones where you end up arm in arm with your friends and swaying, singing that
we
song.
love those.
Oh my gosh, Back for Good. And Mariah Carey, just in case you didn't know who I was talking about, she was spotted 2 times in the top 40 this week in 96. First time, or lower down the chart, I should say, with Fantasy. Excellent song. That was at number 23. But at number 1, she was with Boys to Men on One Sweet Day.
Such a great song. Cry every time.
Oh man, after you hit the high notes, of course.
Yeah. I'm like, that was super off key.
Let's do it again. Rewind that. We're doing it again. We're going to take it from.
Yeah.
That is your 90s rewind, you guys.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
nice. By the
you.
way, I think we briefly discussed this last week about the Janet post discussion. But Mariah's little parts in Janet's doc are hilarious, especially when she's like, I was jealous that she got to do that and I wasn't allowed to, like when the Rolling Stone show.
Yeah. Well, imagine, and she wasn't allowed to because she hasn't had a domineering husband, right?
Yeah, who wanted pristine because image. And like it's interesting too, because after that ended, she totally went hip hop R&B,
Oh yeah.
you know,
With
because that was
Honey?
that was what she wanted, and she did that. So
And you could tell, and it was just so well produced for Mariah. That bassy. Oh, loved it.
love her.
How
Oh,
how do you print? Sorry, how do you spell? Ugh.
that was nice.
She had it.
A lot of G's.
Mm.
And an E
Um,
at the end.
Just before you wrap up, Sharon, a shout out to Rachel, who listens to watches us actually from Australia.
Hi, Rachel.
Rachel,
She writes us a message every episode on our YouTube
she's
channel.
nice.
And the thing is, and she literally watches every single second of our episode because she comments on every topic that we do.
Oh, nice.
So I love it because like if we had a pop quiz for her, she would get 100% because she
Oh, wow.
literally knows every topic that we do.
That's
So I
awesome.
just wanted to give her a shout out.
Thank you, Rachel.
Hello.
Thank you for understanding my accent is so close to yours. Crikey.
You should try that out when you debut the new show on the 28th of February.
I've told you that. Yeah. Bring all your accents. People love it. The owners of our gym are from Australia. So Rachel, I think we've discussed this. F45 is a brand that comes from Australia. So one of the owners will talk about the exercises and refer to it as a burner. It's a burner on the legs. It's a burn. So nobody that goes to our gym actually ever says, yeah, it's a burner. No, they all say it was a burner.
I love this.
All I can picture when you say that is you sitting against the wall doing the chair with your
The
legs.
wall sits.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's
And
a
then
lot.
you're like, I can't.
Yeah.
And then you
All right. I love you
can.
both. Have a great week.
Kisses back to you.
Congratulations again, Sharon. We're super proud of you here.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And thank you all for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter at kellyalexandershow.com so that you can check out the interview with Tina Landon and then come back so that we can speak to Kelly next week or next time on this very show about her meeting the one and only Janet Jackson. We're going to talk about that and other things around that. I've got some dancing questions. Adam,
Sharon.
I'll have some dancing questions for you too.
Thank you very much. I'm
Be
looking
ready.
forward to it.
And thank you guys for finding us wherever it is that you do and wherever it is that you are, like Rachel in Australia. Thank you for listening. It's a burner. Thank you for listening to 90s Now. Still happening.